with a question, and the question being the following. Oops, daisy, I want to jump that. We can actually go to that. There is a system that is used very efficiently and has been used very efficiently, originated in Japan after the Second World War, where Toyota specifically came up with the idea to improve the efficiency of their production system, and the end result was the just-in-time product. It wasn't something that actually at the first attempt worked. They worked at the process. One of the girls said it's 2 days length. Okay. Radio. Let me just quickly. Right. Okay. Some people are finding trouble to access. Okay. Let's try our best. Anyway, I said we have started recording, so it's all good. If you miss anything, just watch the recording. But I can also repeat the work later if there's any questions. So just-in-time system, I uploaded onto Canvas under your additional material in this week 5. This particular link, so you can actually just click on it and open and watch the video. It's just a 4-minute video, but it's a very, very good explanation of what just-in-time is. But if we basically go back to the previous slide, and I ask you a simple question. For instance, if you have one chance of doing something, are you going to do a better job at it than if you know you have 2 more chances? Would you prefer 3 opportunities to write your test, and every time you can improve your score writing the same test, or would you just want 1 opportunity to write the test? Anybody?
Sir, do you mind repeating that, please?
I can repeat that. Let's say, for instance, anywhere in life, for instance, we've just seen the Olympic Games. And during the Olympic Games, you know that, for instance, your track athletes have 1 opportunity. When you have 8 lanes around the track, and you are starting the 100-meter men's race, for instance, you have 1 opportunity. When the gun goes, you've got 10 seconds or quicker nowadays to get to the finish line. That's it. There's no, sorry, I missed it. I was late for the race. I can get another chance. That's it. You have 1 opportunity. The people who are doing the field events, like the javelin and the shot put and the high jump and the long jump, for instance, they have more than 1 opportunity. They can improve the distance that they've jumped. They can improve the distance that they've thrown the javelin. Similarly to you writing a test, for instance, if I say you have 1 chance to write your test in September, and I give you another choice and say you've got 3 chances to write the same test, and every time you can improve your mark, we'll take the best out of the 3. Which one of those will you take?
I'd obviously prefer having 3 chances to try and prepare and better my mark. So you would take the highest mark then?
Of course, everybody's going to go for that. That's the most. And do you think you're under more pressure, obviously, and would you, if that option is provided you in advance, would you prepare better if you know you only have 1 chance?
I would prepare a lot more if I knew I only had 1 chance, where if I had 3 chances, I would be rather taking my fat chances every time.
Of course, yes. And now this is basically what this whole GIT, or just-in-time model, is based on. Usually, businesses have operated in such a manner where they have, and welcome Johanny and Lyndall and Julie, everybody, it looks as if everybody sorted out their link issues. Businesses have produced products, and then they said, okay, right, just in case we've made a mistake, let's just make a few extra. Okay, so if somebody says, oh, this didn't work or whatever, and they can replace it immediately because we have one. But if you produce more than you're going to sell and you're keeping those, instead of just in time, compare that to just in case there's an issue, then we can replace it. But that just in case comes at a cost, because you have to now somewhere find some storage space for these extra items that you have produced in case something goes wrong. And basically what just in time as a production system addressed was, where in the production process are we wasting resources? Where can we work maybe a bit faster? Where can we maybe work more efficiently? Where can the waiting time between station A and station B may be reduced? Classic example, for instance, is also McDonald's. You've seen the movie, The Founder, about how the business was founded and how it grew. And basically, they were looking at improving the efficiency of how people in the kitchen layout in the McDonald's ensured that they became faster and could produce burgers for people in 30 seconds and not in 30 minutes, or in 3 minutes and not 30 minutes, for instance. And it was that scene in the movie where they've gone to the tennis court with some chalk and they drew different layouts and eventually got to the one that they have successfully implemented and duplicated. It's basically similarly along those lines. In other words, where can we do better? Because if we can do better, we can do it faster. So in the same time, we can actually manufacture more products. And it becomes a more efficient system, but you also immediately, with the just-in-time process, you are increasing the pressure for not making mistakes. Because you will, if you know you have another chance, you won't feel that bad if you make a mistake, if it's not life-threatening. And that can result in you not being as efficient and productive as you could be. So the just-in-time was a system to say, let's try and make the whole production system more efficient by taking out the time that we waste and the material that we waste, and the people are not working at the most efficient or in the most productive manner. And as a result of that, we don't have to keep extra stock because our system is more efficient. We don't have to keep products in storage. So if additional order comes in, or if customers want to have their products replaced because they weren't working properly, then we can quickly make it because our system is more efficient. So you're saving on the storage, but you're also saving on your production. In other words, you don't have to keep that inventory, but you also can produce it in a quicker time. So therefore, if something goes wrong, you can quickly manufacture it, another product, the item again, because your system is more efficient. It works very well why it started in Japan and why it works so well in Japan is because they're not a big country. So for them to get the products to all the different outlets, if they needed to, in a hurry, they could quickly manufacture it and get it there in the same time that it would usually have taken if they had to just take it from storage and distribute it to whoever requires it. But if you want to duplicate a system similar to that in a bigger area like America, for instance, or even South Africa for that matter, I think South Africa is slightly bigger than Japan. I'm not sure. I'm stand to be corrected. I'm not a geographical expert. The duplication of the system will only work if you have the manufacturing facilities not covering too big a distribution area. In other words, if it's going to take too long from Joburg to Cape Town, then there's no point. Then you must have a factory in Joburg, and you have a factory in Cape Town. However, because of the savings on storage, which is extremely expensive, and it's also not adding any value to your product, because I mean, you're not making more money if it's in storage. You're making no money. As a matter of fact, you are losing money. So it costs them. It is cheaper, therefore, to have a factory in Johannesburg and a factory in Cape Town, producing the same, implementing this just-in-time system, than having a factory in Johannesburg or Cape Town and a storage facility in both of those venues. So it is a system that definitely contributed to becoming more efficient. And we know a lot of people, and I said it yesterday as well, many people returning from Japan rave about how efficient their systems are. Everything's working, everything is on time. So it becomes part of a way of life as well. And that has obviously been done over time, because I mean, it's been 70 years since the Second World War. You know, well, it's been 80 years since the Second World War almost. So it took time, yes, but again, I think it has proven over time to be a very, very efficient system. There are, however, a few aspects that need to be in place, and we'll have a look at it now, because we are still busy with the chapter on relationship management. So how would a system like just-in-time impact on relationship marketing or relationship selling? Well, because you can actually accommodate the customer quicker, because your response time is faster, it would mean that your customer will be happier, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're used to getting something in 3 days after it's repaired, and now you're getting it the next day, you're going to be impressed, you're going to be happy, you're going to be satisfied, and obviously you're going to continue doing business with that company. That's basically one of the greatest benefits of having a system like just-in-time in place. Right. Now, from just-in-time to relationship marketing, how do they relate to each other, and what is the critical aspects here? Well, in any production process, or in any process, sales process, there's suppliers, and then the suppliers might be the manufacturers as well, or sometimes the manufacturers, you as a supplier get your products from different manufacturers before you actually distribute it to the buyers. So the buyers, the manufacturers, and look at remember from the marketing that you did previously, I think, well, first year, but still, distribution channels. You've got your manufacturers at the top, you've got your wholesalers and retailers in the middle, and then you've got your customer right at the bottom. So basically, we have suppliers who are the ones who are getting the products to the customer. That will be your wholesalers and your retailers. The customer is the buyer, and then somewhere somebody has to manufacture the products that goes through that distribution channel. So for the just-in-time system to work efficiently, you need to have a very good relationship with your manufacturers. If your manufacturers are on a just-in-time model, they'll be very efficient. Then you as a supplier have to step up the game as well and be equally efficient, because nobody in the distribution channel can be inefficient for this system to work. Right, so you need to have a very close relationship with your manufacturers. And that's where relationship marketing comes in. You almost need to plan together, so you understand exactly what the manufacturers are doing and the time in which they do it. So you know that if something goes wrong, it's going to take maybe 2 days to fix this. When the customer comes to you and says, can I replace this product because this is not working? You know the manufacturer is going to take, for the manufacturer is going to take 2 days to finish this. So you cannot commit yourself if you want to, because you now have a relationship with your customer as well, or with your buyer. So you cannot, you have to work on both ends. You need to nurture that relationship with your manufacturer, by understanding what they're doing, but you also need to do that with on the other end with the customer. So you can't tell the customer, listen, you can expect this product back in about, or the new product in about 2 days, sir. We'll let you know when it's here. And then you know that the manufacturer has no chance of actually doing it in 2 days. It's probably going to be 4 or even 5. So if, however, you have a very good relationship with your manufacturers, you will be able to, and because you understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, you will be able to work that into your policies that you implement in how you work with your, how you deal with your customers. It also ensures that your relationship, because the relationship with your manufacturers become very a close relation, becomes a very close relationship. You find that later on, suppliers don't shop around for new manufacturers because they are happy with a particular manufacturer. And if you're happy with a particular manufacturer who's supplying you the products, then it filters through the entire process. You are not going to waste time to find and replace your current suppliers. Therefore, the single source and a longer, stronger relationship with your suppliers. Salespeople's role in this is that you have to know everything from manufacturing all the way through to the after-sales service, the entire distribution channel and everybody's role in it, the role of the production or / manufacturer, suppliers. You need to, almost like a conductor in the orchestra, liaise and all those relationships, interdependent relationships, because if they're not, and if anybody, it's that old saying about the chain is just as strong as its weakest link. Well, this is exactly the case. If there's a weak link, then the system is not going to work and it's not going to be as efficient. Right. I think I'll have it on the next. You can read on in the old edition on page 300 and in the new edition on page 264, total quality management, what total quality management is all about. My apologies, I just want to get my edition 11 out here and go to page 264. I think it is figure 10.1. Yep, the relationship marketing key activities. Those key activities of total quality management. The customer is king. You need to build trust. That's the very important thing. You need to ensure that your responsiveness to customers' needs are very, very quick and efficient. And that will result in a better turnover and acquisition of new customers, as well as a retention of your existing customers. So it's an illustration that is done on page 265, figure 10.1, which is not in this particular slideshow, but I would also encourage you to read this. It's in a highlighted block on page 264. Read what total quality management is about. And the specific example that they use here is the vehicle manufacturer Nissan. Total quality management is a key feature for Nissan's way of working. It involves making customers satisfied or satisfaction top priority. Given this goal, everything the organization and its people do is focused on creating high quality. If you want to prioritize customer satisfaction, you can't compromise on the quality of the product that you are delivering. Okay. They've highlighted some of the points, which is important. Understand the customer's requirements, consider the processes involved in producing a quality product, prioritize and standardize the tasks to be delivered or that will ensure delivery of quality, and then educate all employees to work in this way. And that is quite simple. Like we said with the just-in-time system, if you know that you have to perform at your best, because there is no second opportunity. If you do not jump over the bar right now, you're going to be out of the competition. That's the extra motivation for you to actually do it. And once you do it and you start getting used to it, sadly, one of our local South African tennis player, Lloyd Harris, didn't make it past the quarterfinals, but I mean, that was an achievement in itself. I think only 3 other tennis players in the modern era from South Africa have gone that far. So it is actually a huge achievement. Obviously, even more so because he's a local lad from the northern suburbs here in Cape Town. But he also knew that if he wanted to go to the next level, which would have been a semi-final and then possibly a Grand Slam final, you have to win every match. You know, if you lose this match, you're out of the competition. Similarly, in business, if you know that you only have one opportunity to make the best product that you can, you will ensure that you make the best product, because there's no alternative, and that just improves immensely the quality of the end product, and that's what you want. If you want the customer to be happy, customer are not going to continue buying substandard products. They want quality products, and they'll pay for quality products, and they will remain loyal to you because of the quality of your product. Right. Any questions at this point, people? I seriously suggest that you watch that video on Canvas. It's just 4 minutes. It will give you a very good idea of and summarize everything that we've now said, everything that I've now said in almost 25 minutes. That is summarized very efficiently in just 4 minutes. Okay. Anybody? Are you on the same page? Are we still alive? Are we still okay? Do you have any questions? No questions means everything's good. Right. What is reverse marketing? Reverse marketing, and once we've done reverse marketing, I'll take a break. I'll give everybody a short break. It's not going to take that long. It's probably not going to take us till the end of the session, but let's take a 5-minute earlier break then. Reverse marketing, straightforward. Earlier in this chapter, yesterday, we addressed what transactional marketing is. Now, transactional marketing is where the focus is primarily on getting the transaction done. That was traditionally what happened, because traditionally the seller, me with the product, are going to the buyer and I'm trying to sell it to the buyer. Reverse marketing, therefore, requires and focused on the one single sale. They didn't spend a lot of time with a customer. In other words, because of the short time, they didn't really establish a relationship with that customer. But that also wasn't the intention of transactional marketing. So traditionally, transactional marketing worked because the product, features, and the price were the important things for the customer. That's what the sellers focused on, and that's what they went with as their armor when they visited a buyer. Good quality. Product has features that you can benefit from. This is the price. We might negotiate on the price. Right, we've done the deal. Thank you very much. So in other words, it also meant that your profit ratios were not very great. So you had to sell more products, make a smaller profit on each of them, to get to your objective of making a certain percentage of product or obtaining a certain share of the market. Now, the old equation goes 0% of 1,000 is 0, and therefore I'd much rather have a smaller percentage, like 1% of a lot is still better than a big percentage of nothing. In other words, if you have, if your objective is to make a 1 million rand sales this month, and your profit margin is 25%, then for you to be able to achieve that, you have two different approaches that you can follow. You can make a small percentage of profit on many customers, or you can make a larger percentage over fewer customers. Now, it is much better to, and it depends on the type of product, obviously, because I mean, Ferraris and Aston Martins and 3-bedroom houses are not sold like bread and milk and butter in a supermarket every day. It's a different type of product, and therefore, obviously, the same doesn't apply. But you, or to explain how, well, basically, what reverse marketing is then the opposite of the traditional way of doing transactional marketing, where you are you're spending more time with the customer, so you're focusing on having less customers and making a bigger profit on each of them, because they are happy and therefore they will return and spend more and over a longer period. So that is what the big difference between traditional marketing and relationship marketing is, because relationship marketing is the opposite of the transactional marketing. And in this case, it's the buyer who's now going to the supplier, opposite to what the traditional or transactional marketing was. We, as the buyers, are now shopping, and we are going to the ones that we feel have the better quality. That's the kind of customer that you, as the supplier or seller, wants, because that customer comes to the party with very specific requirements. They know what they're looking for. You don't have to negotiate with that customer. You just need to make sure that you can deliver to that customer what they want, because in return you'll get a lot of business. Does everybody understand what reverse marketing, in a nutshell, what reverse marketing is? In a nutshell, it's basically where traditional marketing, where the seller goes to the buyer and trying to sell a product. With reverse marketing, the buyers are taking the initiative and they are going to the suppliers because they are looking for a specific quality in a product. They'll shop around until they get the supplier who can deliver that quality for them. They forge a relationship because that supplier is a reliable supplier. I've just had an experience 10 minutes before the class started, and I'm not going to mention that supplier's name, but my patience was seriously challenged, and it's not the end of that of my correspondence with that particular supplier. But anyway, it's not your problem, but it isn't. Again, I was just exposed to it. How bad a service experience can be if the supplier is not reliable. Right. You've also heard the expression, cheapest might not also be always the cheapest. It can be the most expensive, because sometimes choosing a lesser quality product because it is cheaper, because the lesser quality products are going to be cheaper than the high quality products. So if you choose the cheaper option, you might have to change suppliers until you find one with a better quality. Every time you change, it costs you money. And that's why the cheapest option sometimes is not that cheap. It actually is more expensive. It can take you a longer time, though, to find the correct supplier. So it is not, and that is why, if we go back to, I think, the second slide of this chapter, where we contrast the traditional or transactional marketing with relationship marketing or selling, the one takes longer because it takes you longer, the process of finding the correct supplier, because the roles are reversed now and the buyer is shopping for the right supplier. Buyer knows what he wants. Buyer's not going to settle for a lesser product. And as a result of that, the buyer is going to take their time until they find the correct one, because they realize that sometimes the cheaper option can be more expensive in the long run. As it says there on the screen for you, traditional or transactional relationships is very much price focused. You are prepared to negotiate on the price, to take a less profit, so you can actually, but then you have to sell more units to make the same profit, or the same profit in total, where your long-term relationships in relationship marketing specifically focuses on almost a sort of a mutually agreed margin between the supplier and the buyer. Because of the long and strong the relationship between the buyer and suppliers, it means that they almost know each other's expenses. And they do need to know that, because that's what a mutual relationship based on mutual trust is about. You cannot hide something from each other. Then the relationship, there won't be a strong relationship, and there will definitely not be a long-term relationship between the buyer and the seller. So, because of the one of the requirements of a long-term relationship with your suppliers is that you do share valuable and accurate, relevant, correct information. So both the buyer and the supplier could be aware of each other's expenses. Another benefit from knowing that is that you can very often now share those resources. Instead of, you might realize that you're actually duplicating certain activities. And instead of duplicating it, let's basically integrate that rather, and work more efficiently. That's another benefit of having a very strong relationship between buyer and seller. I'm going to close with this slide that referred to three very important concepts that we just need clarity on. We all know from marketing one what a competitive advantage is. It means that you are either doing exactly the same as your customers, but you're doing it cheaper, or it means that you are doing something of a better quality than your competitors. Both those will give you a competitive edge. Relationship marketing refers to, and we have determined that up to this point in the chapter, is building a customer relationship with satisfied customer, by satisfying the customer's needs. The tactics, the specific actions that you have to do is what relationship selling is about. So all the actions you take to ensure that the customer's needs are satisfied, everything that builds towards a relationship with that customer is done to ensure that a long-standing, strong relationship is built with the customer and they feel that their needs are satisfied. Because that's what's going to keep them. That's what's going to keep them returning. Anybody at this stage, any questions that you might have? I'm going to take a quick break. Stuck here on the third floor here in the main building on campus in Belleville. I quickly need to, I saw a WhatsApp come through. I need to quickly go drop something for somebody else. But let's take our 5-minute break, which would usually have happened in, I think, about a minute or two anyway, between the 7th and the 8th period. And let's resume, let's say 1:20, if you don't mind. I'll stay online. I'll just mute the sound. Everybody good?